You're listening to The Lyndia Grant Show. Think on these things with Lyndia Grant.
Radio 1 listeners, you're listening to the Lyndia Grant Show. Thank you for tuning in. Spirit 1340 WYCB, the oldest gospel radio station in Washington, D.C., and the first contemporary gospel outlet in the United States. I'm excited to be here with you today, Friday, July 26th. We are happy that you've joined us. We have our special guest on already. We usually talk to Dr. Julianne Malvo. She contacted me earlier this week to tell me that she would be available to do the show today, but something must have come up. You all have heard me talk about how she lost her mom, and she also is the dean at a college out in Los Angeles now. So something probably came up because she enjoys doing politics, so she'll be back. But we're going to be talking to Reverend Ricardo Shepard for the entire show. Reverend Ricardo Shepard is the pastor of the Episcopal Church of the Atonement, located in Washington, D.C. They are hosting a walkathon and a wellness fair. Good afternoon, Reverend Shepard. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm doing well. Yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad to be here with you. I wish I had warned you, but you being a pastor, I'm not too worried about you having something to talk about for the whole show. Pastors can talk.
That comes with the gift. That comes with the gift.
Yes, indeed. It's all right. You'll be just fine. So I want everyone to know I'm very excited about the program that you have coming up. I want you to tell us a little bit about it. We're going to talk maybe about for 7 minutes, and then we're going to have our commercial break, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about it. But first, we can kind of set it up. Tell us a little bit about who you are. Well, I'll do my little short introduction of you first, and then you can talk about your church and you. The Reverend Ricardo Shepard was born in Trinidad and Tobago, and he immigrated with his parents to the United States in 1975. He enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps and was honorably discharged after serving 9.5 years. He earned his Bachelor of Arts degree with a concentration in social science from the College of New Rochelle, a Master's of Divinity degree from Princeton Theological Seminary, and a diploma in Anglican Studies from the University of the South School of Theology in Sewanee, Tennessee. He's currently serving as the rector, and I call it pastor, of the Episcopal Church of the Atonement, located in Washington, D.C. Reverend Sheppard is enthusiastic and passionate about sharing love and hope of God to the greatest and the least in the kingdom. And we have him on today because we're going to have his church on twice, now and another time again in September, to help promote this upcoming exciting health event. It's a walkathon and health fair. And I want him to talk a little bit about himself, his church, and how the idea even to have this huge walkathon coming up that's going to be held at RSK, which I'm pleased to be a participant in. Go ahead.
First of all, I thank you for the opportunity just to share a little bit about this exciting event. The Episcopal Church of the Atonement, I'm glad you said pastor, rector, priest. We all fall within the same category. We're leaders of God's people.
That's right.
And so as the pastor of the church, the idea came about for this walkathon as we began to realize that for the last year, we haven't done much. We've stayed at home. We've missed doctor's appointments. We didn't go to the dentist because we were afraid to and we weren't supposed to. We stayed in, and we really did not take care of ourselves. So the idea became, how do we come back out? How do we slowly come out of our cocoons, out of our shells, and how do we do things safely? So we began to talk about, look, well, we need to do a health fair. Well, we first started talking about doing a walkathon because, you know, we all, for myself, I like to walk. Walking is I call it a safe activity. It's an activity that we all can do in moderation. We don't have to walk long distances, but it allows us to get out, get some fresh air, and be amongst others safely.
That's right.
Of course, we came up with the idea to do a walkathon that would allow us to raise a few funds for some of the ministries of the church in the same way, inviting people to gather back together to do something healthy. And then it just spiraled from there. It began to talk about, well, we need to do something where people can get some health checks. We need to check for diabetes, and we need to check our blood pressure. We've been home eating some interesting foods. not all good for us.
That's right.
Trying new recipes since we've been at home and baking new things. We need to check. And what about some dental care? And then we began to think about and realize that one of the issues that we faced that we haven't talked about is health care, mental health care. So we wanted to make sure that how we provide some needs there. And then we realized some folks have lost some jobs, so maybe we need to provide some nutritional facts and some opportunities for where the food pantries are. And it just began to spiral, and we began to look at what are the needs. And how is it possible that on this day we can do a health and wellness fair where we can try to meet some of the needs of those in our community? And it's been taking us things.
Let's stop right there, Reverend, and come back after our commercial break and get into it right into all the questions I have, because we're going to use the rest of the time telling everybody so they'll know exactly what it is they need to do. You're listening to the Lyndia Grant Show here on Spirit 1340 WYCB. I am talking to Reverend Ricardo Shepard, the pastor or rector of the Episcopal Church of the Atonement in Washington, D.C. They are hosting a walkathon in health. We'll be back in a moment.
If it wasn't for my care coach at AmeriHealth, I probably wouldn't be so healthy right now. As a man, you know we don't get checkups or see a doctor regularly anyways. It's probably just a man thing because none of my partners go either. We know we should, but we just don't, and hope it works out.
So what changed for you?
AmeriHealth assigned me a care coach, somebody that gives one-on-one help, answer questions, explain things, and help set my appointments. She also helped me understand what having high blood pressure really means and ways to manage it so it doesn't kill me. It ain't nothing to play with. If you're a member of AmeriHealth, ask for a care coach. I'm glad I got mine.
At AmeriHealth, if you need a care coach, you can have one. Just call us at 1-877-759-6224 to get connected. 1-877-759-6224. This program is funded in part by the government of the District of Columbia Department of Healthcare Finance. Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Think Clean is a minority woman-owned residential and office cleaning business located east of the river in Anacostia. All of our Think Clean crew members are vaccinated, and we follow CDC and EPA cleaning guidelines using only approved disinfectants, sanitizing products, and equipment that fights the COVID-19 virus. Want a 10% first-timer caller discount? Say you heard about us on the Lyndia Grant Show. For your free estimate, call 202-709-1980. Call us today. Think Clean, spell with a K.
Washington Informer religion columnist Lyndia Grant.
Ida B. Wells, born into enslavement, was a journalist and activist. An avid reader, she read through the entire Bible many times. Wells was once asked to leave the ladies' car and sit in the colored train. She refused, and train officials pushed her. Ida B. Wells retaliated, but was pushed off the train at the next stop. A crowd of whites applauded. She vowed to get even. 3 of her close friends were lynched for opening businesses that cut into profits of whites. Everything changed for Wells. She spoke out internationally against lynching of blacks for the rest of her life. Through her efforts, lynching in America nearly disappeared by the time of her death. And NAACP founder, we salute Ida B. Wells for Women's History Month.
Read more in the religion column of the Washington Informer, an award-winning African-American newspaper. We don't report crime or gossip, just positive news. Pick up the Washington Informer or visit us online at WashingtonInformer.com. Call 202-561-4100 for more information.
We are back. You're listening to the Lyndia Grant Show here on Radio 1, Spirit 1340 WYPP. My guest this afternoon is Reverend Ricardo Shepard, pastor or rector of the Episcopal Church of the Atonement located in Washington, D.C. The Church of the Atonement is hosting a walkathon and wellness fair. It's going to be held at RFK Stadium. The pastor gave us how it came about before we went to our commercial break. Now we're going to talk to him a little further. Tell us a little bit about what all is going to happen, where it's going to be, even the registration fees, because you said so you can make a little money for the church. So I know that must mean there's a registration to walk. So tell us a little bit.
Let me make one correction. It's at the fields at RFK Stadium. So it's if anyone would know the pavilion, which is right across from the stadium, there's some soccer fields there. There's a beautiful pavilion. There's actually, if you haven't been out there, I suggest you go on out and take a look. It's a beautiful space. It's called the fields at RFK Stadium. And, So there's actually two events going on at the same time. One will be the walkathon, which is the event that we're doing to raise funds for the ministries of the church. And the walkathon registration can be found at the church's website, which is the Episcopal Church of the Atonement, DC.org. And let me say that again. It's the Episcopal Church of the Atonement, DC.org. And the website, which we're getting ready to go live with registration for the walkathon, can be done there. Now, the health and wellness fair is open to everyone. There is no charge. There's no fee. What we want to happen is we want folks to come out and just take a look. Come out. There'll be information. There'll be opportunities to get some of your health check. But we want folks to feel welcome. It's open to the public. All are welcome. And that's because.
Are you going to have booths? You're going to have some booths?
Yes.
There'll probably be a fee for the booth, though.
Well, for those who want, if for those who are interested in becoming a sponsor or setting up a booth, the fees per table at this point it's $100 for a booth. So if you want to set up a booth, say you're looking to share some information about maybe your college, those tables and booths will be $100 a piece to set up, unless you want to become a sponsor. But all of that information will be available. You'll be able to contact myself or my manager who's handling the event itself. But the church phone number where you can get that information is 202-582-4200. Or again, all of that information, we will make it available on our website, which again is atonementepiscopaldc.org. Now, I will tell you this. The excitement part to me is not only the health and wellness fair, but we're also planning to do a few forums, have some speakers out there, because there's some topics that we really need to talk about. We want to have a speaker out there talking about gun violence prevention. I live in D.C. I live in Southeast. Truth be told, I live a few blocks away from the church, so I'm in the community. I'm not someone who comes in to see what's happening and goes away at the end of the evening. I live here. So I'm actively involved in some of the things going on. So I think it's important that we deal with some of the issues that we face, gun violence being one of them. Mm-hmm. We're looking to have a speaker talking to us a little bit about returning citizens. Too often we kind of forget that, yes, bad choices don't make bad people. We all make bad choices, and we recognize that with bad choices come consequences. But when men and women are returned to the community, we need to ensure that how there are things in place to help them become those returning citizens and become productive as they would like to be. I mentioned mental health, bullying, diversity and equity within government relations. And then we're also looking to put together a faith forum, a conversation about restoring faith, hope, and love in the times of crisis. We're looking to have some ecumenical clergy gather around and talk about how do we restore our hope and our love in these times when it seems like there's so much going on. There's so much tragedy. There's so much death. There's so much happening where it's easy to take our eyes, our focus off of the good and only see the negative around us. So we're looking to bring together some clergy, not only Episcopalians, clergy within the region, to come and have a conversation about how do we do this? How do we find hope in times of hopelessness? How do we find love in times when it seems like love is gone? So that we're looking together to bring together some clergy to have this forum and to have these conversations around this. At the end of the day, we want this to be an opportunity to start things. We know it's not the end all. We know this health and wellness fair will not be able to meet all the needs of everyone. But we want it to at least be a starting point where you can get some referrals, where you can get some information, where you can check your blood sugar and realize, maybe I do need to cut back on the starch and the sweets and the candy. Where you can get your blood pressure checked and be referred to a doctor where we need to get our health back. That's the direction we're flowing in. The walkathon itself, the website for the walkathon will go live. Actually, it's going live momentarily, and it's a 2.2 mile course. It's not so much about the distance; it's so much about getting out and stretching your legs. It's about getting out and doing something and being able to be out in the air with people you enjoy, people you know, and some friends you may not know, making some new friends.
2.2 miles is good. I can do that. All of us can do it. Yeah, all we got to do is get out there and get started.
Yes, it's interesting. We have different teams. We're inviting folks to set up a team or to walk as individuals. My team is called the Turtles. Slow and steady as we go. And I remind folks, the race is not to the swift, but to he who endures to the end.
That's right.
So as my team, we're the Turtles. We're not looking to run fast. We're just going to go for a nice steady stroll.
Well, you know, they say in that story, the turtle beat the tortoise, didn't it?
They sure did.
At least that's how the story goes. So you and your turtles liable to get out there and get there before the rest of the so-called fast walkers.
But there's a trick to the turtles, and I'm gonna give away a little trick. We plan on being out there early.
Oh, okay.
The early starters, the early bird gets the worm. So we if we stroll a little early, while folks getting started, we might be coming around the corner to the end.
Oh no, that's right. What times is the start? Everything start.
So the registration is done online. We ask all the teams and everyone who's walking to come in by 8:30, so we can check you off and know you're there. We're planning to start walking at 9. We're asking, and the health fair itself begins at 9 a.m. and will go until 3.
Okay, so 9 to 3.
Yeah.
That sounds exciting. I'm telling you, I am looking forward to it. I plan to be there.
I look forward to having you there and making sure I get a chance to introduce you and have you say a few words while we're there.
Yes, indeed. I plan to get on the stage and talk a little bit about diabetes, which is my main topic, because my mom died from complications of diabetes. So, Reverend Sheppard, I've written about it in my column in the Washington Informer, 7-part series. I've done doctors on my radio show every year, so doctors and nurses talking about diabetes. Everybody who knows me know that's my subject. And then I also did some seminars at my church, hosted by Mary Health Caritas. So all of that is what I do, and it's because of what happened to my mom. It was so bad. She was a minister, but both her legs were amputated, Pastor, and she died on Christmas Day in 2000. And the only reason I want to share this is because I want people to understand that because it was so devastating. It was 20 years ago in 2000. 21 years ago, this Christmas will be 21. But she lost both her legs. She had a lot of strokes. She had kidney failure, just a lot of stuff. And so I think God just laid it on my heart to find out what in the world happened. And so I realized I can share now with people how this doesn't have to happen to them.
Yes. And that's too often, and I believe within our communities, there's that fear. Right? We live in that fear of the unknown. Well, I know something's wrong, but I'm afraid to go to the doctor to hear bad news.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid to share with someone that I'm not feeling well because it might be something serious. So we have a fear of the unknown. But I believe that if we get past the fear part and go early, go get checked up. I listened to one of the broadcasts that came on earlier, one of the commercials. They talked about men's health. I'm big on that. I push my men to make sure we go to the doctor because we're the first ones to be sick and talk about I'm all right or I can handle it. No, go get checked up and go get checked regularly. It's
that's right.
So many things can be avoided if we just took the time to go take care of what we need to, and that's get ourselves checked out.
Yes, indeed. I always close by saying my people perish for the lack of knowledge. That's scripture, isn't it, Reverend? Yes. So true. I say that every week. Been saying it every week for 10 years because that is the truth. That's what we come on the radio to do, is to help people have some knowledge. And we also, my theme of this show is think on these things, Philippians. So we want people to think on those things that are good.
Yes. And to provide an environment, and we're talking, I always talk church. When I say church, I talk in a broad brush stream. Oftentimes we looked at the church and as the place where, we come to find God. But the reality is the church is a place where the sick come to be healed. And all of the healing doesn't always have to take place. We believe in the laying on of hands, and we believe in anointing with oil, but we believe in doctors, we believe in hospitals, we believe in medication. And I have to tell folks that the church is a place where we should be promoting good health.
That's right.
When my previous church I came out of was in New Jersey, and prior to that I was at the Episcopal Cathedral in Trenton, New Jersey. And one of the things that we started to recognize there that the deans there realized is that we love to eat. Let's keep it real. We like food. This is what we do. We like good food. But on a Sunday morning, there was never anything healthy.
No.
So we decided that on each Sunday fellowship time that there had to be a healthy choice. And that began to grow. The salad bowl grew larger because they couldn't keep it. No matter how much they put in there, people realized, well, if I had a choice and there was a salad available, I would take it. And they realized that if we put out those healthy choices, people would take those choices. But oftentimes we don't provide a healthy choice.
Oh, they started enjoying that salad because a good salad, Pastor, is delicious.
Oh, yes. Now, I will say we had to sometimes hone back a little bit about all the things we put in the salad. Because a salad could become just as unhealthy as the other stuff we're eating when we pile it up with everything else.
No, just keep it healthy.
Yes, but nutrition is important. But I think we as pastors and as church leaders are called to lead the charge when it comes to health.
Well, Pastor, tell me this, because we only got a couple minutes before I go to the close. Will there be any healthy food there?
Yes. So one of the things we're looking to provide is we're looking at food trucks, and we're looking at food trucks that will have some healthy food. We're looking to make sure that we have nutritional information that will help folks with some healthy recipes and so forth. And at the end of the day, I tell folks, listen, I'm a foodie. I love good food. But if we know, then you're required to do. The knowledge is the part that I think is missing the most. And I love what you said, that was there that people lack people perish because of lack of knowledge. Well, the reality is we are required, we are called to inform and to make sure that knowledge is available. But now you ask me the question. You will have me looking into making sure we have some healthy choices out there on that day.
Oh yeah, it's so appropriate for that many hours. We have to have something good to eat that's healthy. Pastor, just give us your closing comments because we're out of time.
Well,
15 seconds.
Again, I want to thank you for having me on and for us to have the opportunity to talk a little bit about the health and wellness fair and the walkathon, which will be held at RFK Fields on September 25th, starting at 9 a.m. to 3 o'clock. Registration for the walkathon is at our website, atonementepiscopoldc.org, and it's open to the public for those who want to come and take part. Again, I thank you. God bless you. And knowledge is power. Please, please, please.
All right.
Remember that knowledge is power.
All right. Call 202-582-4200. You listen to the Lyndia Grant Show. Next week, we're going to have a guest, a best-selling author. Her name is Lyndia. She's sharing about her best-selling book. Words don't indeed have a boomerang effect, so be careful what you say now. Scripture says, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. Think of these things from the Lyndia Grant Show. I'm your host, Lyndia Grant. And if you get a chance, come by All Nations Baptist Church. Sunday, located on North Campus, Howard Avenue. Our pastor, Reverend Dr. James Coleman. We're having church live. Until next week.
Thank you for listening to The Lyndia Grant Show. Think on these things with your host, Lyndia Grant.